Hey there guys, how you all doing? I'm Paul the Tech Giant and welcome back to the channel where today I'm going to tell you what I believe are the worst things about this LG CS OLED. Now, to keep things fair, I've also done a best things about a video and I put a link to that video in the description because I believe that you should know both the pros and the cons of any TV. Now, sadly, whenever I do one of these worst things videos, I get lots of abuse for it. I think people take it personally as like an insult on their purchase, but no, this is just to help you guys out. At the end of the day, to be totally honest, this is a cracking TV and I would highly recommend buying it. But I will not take any abuse, any messages that are abusive, personal insults, threats, anything like that. They will be deleted off and you will be barred. Now, if after watching this and my best things about it video, decide that you want to buy this TV or any other TV for that matter, please use my affiliate link to the guys who send over these TVs for testing. That's box.co.uk. As if you use that link, puts a few pence back in my pocket and I really do appreciate it. Right, let's crack on then. And in no particular order, the first worst thing about this LG CS OLED is the fixed and short power cable. Yeah, this is a real bugbear of mine, and LG are just hell bent on putting a short power cable on these things. So it's only 1.5 meters long and it is fixed to the back of the TV. So if you wall mount it like this, then you may have to run an extension lead up to the back. And also for people who maybe bury their cables in the wall, it is a pain because, as you can see, the plug's fixed on the end, which means if you cut that off, apparently you void the warranty. So yeah, you are in a right predicament. Just don't know why they can't make it detachable from the back of the TV so you can actually put a longer one on there. So that is the first worst thing about this TV. Right, let's move on to the next worst thing about this TV, and listen to this guy on here. Size of him. This is one of my own videos and yeah, you see me walking along. Anyway, next worst thing about this TV is the screen sizes that are available. Unfortunately, as I said at the start, this overall is an amazing TV and I would highly recommend it. But sadly, it only comes in a 55-inch and a 65-inch. Which I know there are people out there who would like, you know, smaller or larger sizes. So yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. I know the 55-inch and the 65-inch are probably going to be good for the majority of the people out there. But yeah, it is just such a shame that you can't get something smaller, which would be great for gamers or someone with just a small living room, or someone who wants something a little bit bigger. So that's the next worst thing about this TV. Right, next worst thing about this TV is the remote control. Now you may be wondering to yourself, well, hold on, you said about this in the best things about video. Well, yes, the functionality is amazing. Can't take that away from it, but it's just the looks. It's better than some of the designs they've done in the past, but it still looks a little bit cheap. Reminds me of the sort of remote that you get in a supermarket, sort of budget TV. I just think it could be a little bit more premium. And this is only a few days old, really. And because it's not got any sort of like knobbles on the corners of it to help protect the bottom, because it's a sort of glossy finish to it, it does scratch up very easily on the back. I don't think you'll be able to see it on camera, but yeah, got quite a lot of scratches on the corners already. So yeah, it's going to start looking old pretty quick. So that is the next worst thing about this TV. Right, cracking on then, and the next worst thing about this TV is the apps bar. Now, on previous LG OLEDs, what we were able to do is press on a button and just get up our apps. But unfortunately, on this model, we have to get a like full screen thing going on, which I'm not a fan of. Now, when you initially fire up the TV, you do just get the apps bar pop up, and you still get whatever you're watching playing in the background, which I think looks really nice. But sadly, we don't get the option to have it like that all the time. So if you want to go through the apps, you have to press on the button, you get this full screen up, and it just cuts off anything that you're watching. You can't hear the TV either. I don't think it's that great. Where before, what you would do is get the apps bar pop up with your, whatever you're watching playing in the background. And if you was to say hover over Netflix, it would then pop up a sub menu giving you suggestions. I think that was far better than this well, waste of space, frankly. I do not like it. I wish they would go back to the way it was. So that is the next worst thing about this TV. Right, moving on, and next up on the list is to do with the art gallery. So many of you might not even know it exists. So if we get up our menu just like that and go to art gallery, in here we get the option to view various pieces of artwork. So if I just click on masterpieces there you go, this will rotate through various pieces of art, but sadly it's not as good as what it used to be. It is a step backwards. But why? Well, before we actually used to have a picture frame going around the edge of the TV being displayed. It would change with the various pieces of artwork, and it looked really, really convincing. You got it in the right light, it would actually look genuinely like a piece of artwork on your wall. But sadly, LG have taken a step backwards and have removed it. Might not seem the biggest deal in the world, but at the end of the day, it is a step backwards. And yeah, they've done away with them. My thinking is that potentially a risk of burning. So they've just done away with them. And now we're just stuck with these images, which look very nice, but at the end of the day, they just do look like images on the screen and not as convincing as what it used to be when we had the actual picture frames as well. So that's the next worst thing about this TV. Now that last worst thing leads me on to the next worst thing, and that is the risk or potential risk of burning. Now don't get me wrong, the risk these days seems to be lower than ever, and more than likely you will never suffer from burning, but it's something that I will have to mention because at the end of the day, some people do get it, and I'd hate to recommend a TV and not be honest with you with the potential risk. Now, if you're the sort of person who watches TV, the same channel over and over again, it's got lots of static images, you know, the ticker tape things at the bottom, you know, sports results may be stuck up on the screen all day long, then potentially you could suffer burning, and that is where there is basically like a silhouette of the image that was on there when you change to something else. So let's just say it was a TV logo of #1 in the corner, and you watch channel 1 all day, every day, you know, for weeks on end with that #1 in the corner, and then one day you decided to change to channel 3. That one could be still burnt into the TV, so you see like a faint outline of where it was, which isn't great, you know, depending on what it is. It could be something massive, and you know, it's always going to be there staring at you. Like I said, it is a very small risk these days, and it's only sort of a risk to those people who maybe, like I say, have things stuck up on the screen, you know, for sort of days and days on end. Or weeks on end, should I say. But for the majority of people, it should be fine. And even with gaming, we personally have not had any issues yet, you know, with the heads-up displays and stuff like that, because generally you won't play the same game constantly, you know, you'll mix it up, and that is the thing. It's mixing the content up, which helps. And there are prevention measures as well built into these TVs as well. But like I said, I've got to mention it. So that is the next worst thing about this TV, potential risk of burning. Moving on, and next up on the worst things list is the design. Now again, you're going to say, Paul, you said the design was one of the best things, which yeah, it is. It looks absolutely amazing. But with that amazing design and the thinness comes the fact that it is quite fragile because it is so thin. Look, it's pretty wobbly. And I'll tell you what, the amount of people that come to me who've bought these TVs and they've said, do you know what, I'm scared to take it out of the box. It's so thin, I'm worried of snapping the thing. Because you can't sort of grab it on the four corners like a traditional TV, people are confused on how you lift it and, you know, just handle the thing. And yeah, that is a worry to a lot of people, especially again, if maybe you've got small kids around, you've got it, you don't have it on the tabletop stand, you may be worried that it being so thin, it could get damaged quite easily. So yes, whilst if you're a responsible adult and you read the instructions or watch my videos, you'll learn how to lift this TV perfectly safely. But I know for a lot of people, it is a concern. And, you know, again, if you've got small kids and that, you think, ooh, you know, could it get damaged? So yeah, that is the next worst thing about this TV. Right, moving along, and next up on the list is to do with wall mounting. So yeah, if you are wall mounting this TV, it could be a little bit awkward. So the reason for this is if you already have a TV that is wall mounted, generally the wall mounting holes are pretty central on the back of the TV. Now if your wall mount brackets like mine are pretty much fixed, that you can't sort of move the height of the bracket up and down much, you may find that this TV sits significantly higher up the wall than your current TV. Reason being that the mounting points, as you can see on the back of this TV, are just on this section right at the bottom. So if they are, say, about there, and that would normally be at the middle of your TV, this means it's actually going to sort of push the TV further up the wall, which means that you may have to actually relocate your bracket further down the wall to compensate for the TV going up the wall, because those mounting holes are pretty much like down the bottom there as opposed to in the middle. So yeah, that could be a bit of a pain. So that's the next worst thing about this TV. Now this next worst thing I'm going to show you before I say, and that next worst thing is the reflections, as we can see just there. Now I've seen TVs that are worse than this, but I have seen other TVs that are better. So yeah, it might be something you worth considering, is where you are placing this TV in relation to maybe a window, because you may suffer from unwanted reflections like we are getting off these lights here. Admittedly, they are very strong and it's quite a tough test. But yeah, that is definitely worth mentioning. So that's the next worst thing about this TV. On to the final worst thing about this TV, and that is it's not available everywhere. So yeah, overall this is a great TV, but sadly, if you want one, you might not necessarily be able to get one. I've had so many people contact me from various places around the world saying, Paul, I can't find this TV in my country. Is it coming to my country? Unfortunately, I don't know if it is coming to all countries. I'm in the UK at the moment, we can get it over here, but yeah, there are a lot of countries that don't seem to be getting this TV. Well, not at the moment anyway, whether they will do in the future, which is a real shame because it is a great bang for your buck. I can't speak highly enough about this TV. I know I'm doing the worst things about video, but you know, like I said, I want to keep these things fair, and realistically there's nothing that's so serious that would put me off recommending this TV to you guys. So the fact that you would struggle to maybe get one in your country, I think is a real downside of this TV. It's a nightmare, you know, something so good and isn't available to everyone. So that's the next worst thing about this TV. And there we have it then, guys. That was the worst things about this TV. And like I said, don't forget to watch my video on the best things about this TV. Now, if you like what I do on this channel, don't forget you can support the channel by using my affiliate link below to Box. Also, I've got affiliate links for Amazon, so buy anything from there. Use my affiliate link. I get paid a bit of money. Don't cost you a single penny extra. So remember that over this Cyber Monday period. Also, I've got a super thanks feature, so you can just say thanks by donating to the channel. And if you've enjoyed this video, do us a favor, give me a thumbs up, really does help promote these videos, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this and more videos on the CS OLED and other TVs in the future. So thanks very much for joining me today, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.